Hi, welcome to Rules Challenge. My name's Carter Maxwell. If you're new to the show, you're probably wondering what the heck a Rules Challenge is. It's just a test of your understanding of the rules of the game. I run through a series of moves in a real game situation, and after each move I'll just stop and ask legal or illegal, and then I'll go on to answer the question and give some explanation. I should emphasize though that this is not a full overview of the rules. If you haven't read the rule book yet or watched a how to play type video, go do that first, because I'm focused here just on the rules that tend to give people the most trouble. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. The game we're looking at in this episode is Gugong. Not an especially complex game, but there is a fair amount of stuff that can trip you up, especially in the Great Wall area where there can be a cascade of events when you get to scoring that you really need to make sure you have a firm grasp of. And also there's a fair amount of iconography that I won't go into too much in the video, so you do need to make sure that you keep the rule book handy, because some of these tokens that come out, you're just not going to necessarily understand what they do in the first play or two of the game, and you'll need to have that rule book handy to review it with the other players. I should also mention that in the video I use the term lesser and greater action a fair amount. That's just to distinguish between the first and second action in the different locations, even though the rule book never uses the terms lesser or greater. So we have a three-player game here. We've already gotten through 2 rounds. We're in the 3rd round. We've done the morning phase, and now we're going into the day phase. And yellow will be our star player. So we'll go ahead and get started. For our first action, yellow will gift an 8 card onto the palace and take back the 7 that was there. Then she'll pay 1 cube from her pool to her supply to take the greater shipping action. Then she'll place a ship on the first space and fill it with a servant, or place 1 servant there. Then she'll place a second ship on the next open space and place 1 cube there. That move was legal. The 2 servants do not need to be placed together on the same ship. It was fine that yellow started 1 ship on the first open space with just 1 servant, and then skipped ahead past lilac to the next open space, placed a ship, and just 1 servant there. For the location action, yellow will first take the lesser action to advance her envoy up 1 space. Then she'll opt to also take the greater action to spend her double servant to pay the 2 servant cost. Then she'll advance up 2 spaces with her envoy and advance 1 space on the intrigue track. That move was illegal. On the 5 locations where there's an option for 2 separate actions, you have to choose one or the other. So in this case, yellow couldn't first take the lesser action, then take the greater action. She had to just choose one or the other. For lilac's first turn, he'll place a 7 on the Great Wall, take back the 1 that was there, and then just take the lesser action, which allows him to place 1 servant on the wall. So he'll take his double servant, put it in there, and that will complete the wall for a 3-player game. He counts that he's got 3 servants to blue's 2, so he'll win the bonus for the wall completion. So he'll score 3 points and advance 1 space on the palace track. Then lilac will remove his servants from the wall, return them to his supply, and shift the remaining cubes on the wall to the left. That move was legal. There's no reason you can't complete and score the wall off of just a bonus action. It acts just like the regular location action. And it was correct that only lilac's servants were removed from the wall. Anyone who wasn't the winner gets to keep their servants on the wall. Completion of the wall triggered the intrigue benefit, so lilac will spend 1 to move his servant or double servant from supply to pool. Blue will opt to not spend anything, and Lilac will spend 1 to move her double servant to her pool. That move was illegal, and it was just one subtle thing that's easy to miss. Yellow did not actually have presence on the wall when it was completed. So yellow did not actually have the option of spending anything for any of the intrigue benefits. Pink doesn't have presence on the wall right now, but did at the time it was scored. It's just that you remove your servants from the wall before you actually take your intrigue benefit. For the location action, Lilac is going to take the greater action. So he'll move 1 servant from his pool to his supply, then move 2 servants from the pool onto the wall. First he'll move his double servant, and then a regular servant, and that will again complete the wall. He wins 3 servants to 2, will score 3 points, advance his envoy 1 space up the palace track, and remove his cubes from the wall, return them to his supply. Scoring to the wall again triggers the intrigue benefit, so Lilac will go ahead and spend 1 and move the double servant back into his pool, and blue and yellow will sit tight. That move was legal. It just shows the power of these double Great Wall moves and having some intrigue available to spend to keep cycling your servants out of your supply back into your pool. Now it's Blue's turn, and he'll play an 8 over a 4 in the decrees area, return the 4 to his discard, and that comes with an intrigue bonus. So he'll first take the intrigue action, and he'll take the greater action in the intrigue area, which means he has to spend 1 servant, and he can move up 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Now, since he's triggered the intrigue benefit, he'll spend 7 for 1 jade, as shown up here. So he'll move from 7 down to 0 on top of Lilac, and take 1 jade from the jade pool. That move was illegal. The part where he paid 1 servant to move up 3 spaces on the intrigue track was fine. The mistake was in taking an intrigue benefit. That only can be done during Great Wall scoring. It's not part of taking an intrigue action. Now for the second part of his turn, Blue will take the location action in decrees, and he wants to claim the level 2 decree where yellow currently is. So he's going to spend 2 servants, and he'll do that by just paying his double servant, and then he will take another servant from his pool and place it next to yellow. That move was illegal. Remember, when you're paying for your decrees, you're not only paying servants as shown on the decree, but if any of your opponents have already marked the decree with their servants, you're paying extra for those. So blue should have paid 2 for the decree, 1 just to mark it, and then an extra 1 because yellow already occupied it. And if Lilac had been there as well, then blue would have had to pay 2 extra rather than 1 extra. Now we're back to the top of the turn order. So it's yellow's turn. Yellow will play a 5 in the Grand Canal area and take back the 3 that was there, and then take the bonus Great Wall action. For that, yellow will just take the lesser action, take 1 cube from her pool and place it on the wall. That move was legal. Pretty standard move, nothing all that noteworthy. Now for the Grand Canal location action, yellow will take the lesser action, which is placing 1 servant. So she'll take her double servant and place it on her ship on the 3rd space and immediately claim that harbor bonus which is a new card. And that'll remove the ship from the board. She will use the regular servant to mark the edge of her player board to show that she has taken a new card. And then she'll go ahead and draw a new card from the deck. And then the double servant, she'll return to her supply. Then, for the movement part of her action, she'll take the ship that's still on the first space, leapfrog Lilac, and put it into the third space where her other ship had been. That move was legal. There's a few things worth touching on here. First, when you're taking the lesser action, you don't necessarily have to move the ship that receives the servant. So in this case, yellow put a servant on the third ship and then ended up moving the first ship. Also, it was fine that yellow claimed that harbor bonus midway through completing her action when she had placed the servant but before she had moved a ship. Now it's Lilac's turn, so he'll play a 9 over the 7 at the Great Wall location and place that 7 card in his discard pile. Now he will take the greater action and spend 1 servant to place first his double servant on the wall, and he won't yet place his next one because he has completed the wall for wall scoring. This move is illegal, but it's a little hard to demonstrate just because Lilac has mostly just announced that he's breaking the rules. He had taken the greater action and spent a servant so that he can place 2 on the wall, yet he's only placed 1 and he's starting to do the scoring, and that with the intent that after scoring then place a servant back on the wall again. However, you have to complete the action that completes the wall. So even though the rulebook says the wall must be scored upon completion, you nevertheless have to finish the action that you're in the midst of that completes the wall. So here, Lilac needed to place a second servant on the wall to complete the action, then it could be scored. So to score the wall, Lilac sees that he has 2 to Blue's 2, so they're tied. So as the active player, Lilac takes the win. Will move his envoy up 1 on the palace track, score 3 points, and remove his servant from the wall, return it to his supply. That move was illegal. Ties on the wall are not determined by who placed first on the wall or who is the active player. It's determined by your position on the intrigue track. Lilac was below Blue, meaning he was behind Blue, and thus lost the tie to Blue. Since I've already shown that what Lilac was trying to do was illegal, I won't bother trying to wrap up what he was doing with that action. For Blue's second turn, he'll play a 5 with no bonus over the 3 at the travel location, and return that 3 to his discard pile. So he's going to take the double location action. That'll require him to spend 2 servants. So I'll move those from the pool to supply. Then he'll first move his traveler to this token, which is the one that allows you to spend 3 servants for 1 jade. He actually doesn't want to take that action. He just is trying to pass through the space. So he will take that and place it against his player board. Then for the second move, he will move on to the token that allows you to place 1 servant from your supply to the Great Wall. Blue will move his double servant to the wall, which completes the wall. He wins 4-1 versus yellow. So he'll score 3 points and advance 1 space on the palace track. And remove his servants from the wall and slide yellow to the left side. Again, that triggers the intrigue benefit, and again, Blue and Lilac have nothing to spend. Yellow will go ahead and move down 1 and move a servant from supply to pool. That move was legal. There are a couple of things that look questionable, but were fine. First, when he took that token that allowed him to spend 3 servants for 1 jade, that's player's discretion. You don't have to take the action on a token. So he didn't want to spend that many servants, so instead he just took the token for the sake of passing through it. And then the next token, it was fine that it came from his supply. In fact, that a servant has to come from your supply when you're using this token and placing it on the wall. Now it's yellow's turn, and she will play a 7 over the 5 on the travel location and put that on her discard pile. She would like to take the 2-move greater action, so she'll have to pay 2 servants for that. First, she will move over 2 empty spaces to take the 2 victory point token and mark those 2 points. After placing the 2 victory point token on her player board, yellow realizes that she's full and doesn't have room for a token from a second move. So she will go ahead and spend all 6 of those for a jade token. That move was legal. It's fine to skip over empty spaces, and it was fine that yellow spent travel tokens during the middle of an action. You can spend those at any time during the game. Then she will backtrack over those empty spaces, skip over blue, and take the token for exchanging a card. To resolve the exchange card token, she'll take the 5 that she just put in her discard pile and exchange that with the 8 that's on the palace location. That move was legal. It was fine that yellow backtracked over those empty spaces and skipped over blue to reach a new location. As to how yellow used the exchange card location, that was legal, but there's a lot of iconography in this game, and I won't get into how all those tokens work. For Lilac's turn, he will play a number 4 over a number 7 on the travel location. Now since that's a higher card than the card he's playing, he will have to pay a 1 card penalty, so he'll also discard a 2 that he was holding. The card Lilac played has a shipping bonus, but he actually doesn't have as many servants as he needs to take the action he wants for shipping. So he's going to first take the location action and just take the basic action to move 1 space, claim this gain 1 servant token. He'll move his double servant from supply to pool and put his token next to his player board. Now he'll take the bonus shipping action on his card. He'll just take the lesser action, place 1 servant, making it the double servant on the ship, and won't even bother to move it. We'll go ahead and take the harbor bonus for 4 points and remove the ship. He scores the 4 points, marks it on his player board with one of the servants that were removed from the ship, returns the other one to supply, and returns his ship to his supply. That move was illegal. When you have both a card bonus action and a location action, you have to always do the card bonus action first. In this case, Lilac first took the location action to get the servants he needed for the card bonus action. Now it's Blue's turn, so Blue will play an 8 over the 5 at the Grand Canal location. Blue would like to take the greater action, so he'll first spend 1 servant to do that. Then Blue will take 2 servants from his pool, place it on the ship, advance it 1 space, and go ahead and score the harbor bonus for 4 points. So Blue will mark the 4 points, take 1 of the servants, place it next to the 4-point marker on his player board, return the other 2 to supply, and return his ship to his ship's supply stack. That move was illegal. Remember that the ship movement is only part of the lesser action on the Grand Canal. When you take the greater action, you're able to put more servants out, but you don't get a ship movement with that. So blue was incorrect after placing those 2 new servants to then advance to the next base. For yellow's turn, yellow will play a 9 with no bonus over the 5 on the palace location. She will then take the greater action, spend 2 servants, and move her envoy up 2 spaces. First claiming the 7-point position, and then since she has an additional step, she's going to take 1 victory point. Then she will also advance 1 space up the intrigue track. That move was legal. About the only thing that might give you pause there was that yellow took a victory point for that leftover step, but there's even a nice little reminder out here that extra steps can be spent on victory points. For Lilac's turn, he'll exchange a 4 for the 7 at the Jade location. Since he's playing a lower card for a higher card, he'll have to pay a penalty for that. Lilac realizes he does not have any cards left or enough servants to pay the penalty. Thus, he'll just take the card bonus action and forego the location action. So he'll take the lesser action and advance 1 space on the palace. That move was illegal. If you are not able to pay the penalty for exchanging a low card for a high card, you don't get to take any action. It doesn't mean you can't make the card exchange. It just means the card exchange is the only thing you'll be doing with that turn. For Blue's turn, he's in pretty much the same boat as Lilac. He's down to his last card. He doesn't have enough servants to pay a penalty, and the 2 card in his hand isn't high enough to beat any card left on the board. Unlike Lilac, though, he actually likes his 2 card because it matches up well with the Destiny dice this round. So he's just going to go ahead and discard it, and that'll end his turn. That move was illegal. One of the fundamental rules of the game is, on your turn, if you don't have a card, you're passing. If you do have a card, you have to exchange a card with a card on the board. You'll never just discard it directly like that. Alright, that concludes the rules challenge for Gugong. If you didn't get everything right, there's certainly no shame in that. Hopefully you got something out of this video though that'll help you out in your next play of the game. I already have tentative plans for my next 2 or 3 episodes, so if you're interested in catching those, be sure to subscribe. And that's it for this episode. I'm Carter Maxwell, this has been Rules Challenge, and we'll see you soon.